These are the pacemakers, people who stand out from the crowd. People who change the world they live in. People whose faces are not always familiar. People on whom the community depends. People who are changing Britain today. These are the pacemakers.
You are saying that no actor comes beyond this area here?
Yeah. It doesn't. Why? But that doesn't mean that no actor reaches.
I respect your right to do it.
This is the Midlands Arts Centre. Directors, producers, designers discussing a play. The Arts Centre is an ambitious complex of studios and theatres in Birmingham, in the middle of industrial Britain. The man, John English, director of the centre, theatre producer, entrepreneur and visionary. His target, children. To revolutionise the lives of children who live in a world dominated by factory chimneys and the noise and dirt of industry. For John English himself worked for 20 years in a factory making glass.
Almost exactly 40 years ago, I started my working life here. I was a very junior industrial chemist, and I used to crawl out through a hole in the wall there and take samples of the raw materials for the glass, the sand and the soda and the lime. It used to come to us in canal boats along this, one of the first canals ever built. Well, it's not used for that purpose anymore, and there's an old steam railway over the other side that's been electrified. And you can see these great pillars there to carry the new motorway, linking all the motorways in Britain. Now, there have been enormous changes in the factory, too. It still makes glass. In fact, it probably makes 3 times as much glass as it ever did. It's all made by automatic machinery, and it uses only about 1/3 of the number of the people that it did in my day. And there have been other changes for the people, too. They used to live in little houses here. They've all been cleared away, and they're living in fine new blocks of flats, and they go to fine new schools. These changes for me are, you know, the really important purpose of the second industrial revolution. To free people to do things other than work. And what are they going to do? That's the question, isn't it? Of course, when people stop spending most of their lives in work, they just don't stop doing anything. They spend time in their houses and their gardens, and above all, they begin to play. And when you first think of play, of course, you think of games, of physical sports, and these are tremendously important. But to put it no higher, there is another kind of play. Play of the mind, the play of the spirits, and the play of the imagination. And this is another way of talking about music and theatre and books and poetry, of fashioning anything with a combination of hand and eye and feeling above the need of mere utility. Now, this is really what the Midlands Arts Centre is about. Now, we've managed to get a perfectly splendid site for the new Arts Centre. It's in one of the very nicest parks in Birmingham. Beautiful mature landscape, wonderful trees and water and flower beds. And there are many physical recreation facilities in this park already. But on a long strip of land, a great island, about nearly half a mile long between a lake and a river, we're building these new kind of facilities for leisure time enjoyment. Now, here is the building in which we're standing at the moment. It's a library, as you can see, and it's at the top of this hexagon building. It looks out all over the park. You can see this beautiful, almost rural landscape all the way around you. Below this is a tiny little theatre for puppets. This building in the centre here are the workshops and studios. This is where the parents and their children come and work together side by side. This place is for the young people of each new generation, and for all young people, all children, the kids of every Tom, Dick and Harry. And they start coming here when they're very, very young, long before they go to school, with their parents, where we can manage it, with other kids' parents, where we can't.
The centre is only for the under 25s. Adults must be accompanied by a child, and families are encouraged to come and work together. If you catch them young, John English says, their first enthusiasm will remain when they grow up. They'll leave to spread the gospel themselves. The Midlands Arts Centre was John English's brainchild. In 1960, he got an enlightened Birmingham City Councillor, Frank Price, interested in the idea. The council put up the initial funds, but now the Arts Centre is financed by a charitable trust and is independent. It isn't free. Members' fees go towards the running costs. If you pay for something, says John English, you value it more. Over 2,000 people use the workshops every week. There have been criticisms that the membership is mainly middle class, that the centre is preaching to the converted. But John English has countered this by getting teachers to bring groups of children from their schools. Children whose parents will not come themselves. The older members can help to pay their fees by looking after the little ones. Children join the centre, and then they can use the workshops to do carpentry, or make puppets for the professional puppet theatre, or make sculpture or pottery, all with expert help and the proper facilities. As these children grow up, they'll go on to use the music studios, the art gallery, and the members' coffee bar.
John, why are you doing another horse? I'll do one every week. That's the only thing I can do.
Now here is a group of theatres. Theatres are very important to an arts centre. Theatre is the art where all arts meet. And there are 3 theatres, a very large one called the Swan, and a smaller one, as you might expect, called the Signet. And then there's an open-air theatre.
A workshop theatre and puppet theatre are already in constant use, with a professional company 30 strong. They give 16 performances a week to over 2,000 children. John English thinks it important for children to have a chance to see the great modern classics, which are not often performed commercially. They're planning a production of the Caucasian Chalk Circle. As an old hand in the theatre, he gets the company to use him as a sounding board.
Very quiet, swinging incense and all sorts of stuff through the audience is not the kind of thing that we want to do.
Having incense. No direct address from within the play?
No.
From within an individual scene? I still don't see what you know, talking about being, you're not saying that is an internal experience related only to the people who are on that little bit of stage.
Oh, no.
It has damn all to do with these people out here.
Oh, no.
Then what's the argument about if people come through there that being involving?
It doesn't mean that no actor reaches
Is there no direct address either?
Oh, he says direct address.
A lot of direct address.
But it's not direct address from within the play.
But what you're saying is that we are actors, you are other people.
Yeah. Commenting on the scene, saying what's about to happen or what has just happened.
I think it's phony. It's all very well, you chaps getting excited.
The design of the projected Swan Theatre is planned over lunch in the boardroom. It'll be a huge theatre, but will it be flexible enough? John English gets production manager David Gordon, technical manager Mike Brown, and Mrs. English, who is secretary of the trustees, to thrash out the details.
As well. Yes. And concerts, yes. Look, let's think about our 4-slot day, shall we? October 1972. Friday. Slot 1, that's first thing in the morning. 10 o'clock. And what? Puppets in the morning. Then you finish that about 12 o'clock. And you've got another performance when?
2:30.
2:30. Right. Of what?
Let's say a play now.
Terry Truman's Time Travel, Silverring in 1972. And now where do you play that?
Well, we need the whole theatre for that, really.
All right, so you want all that area? Yes. All right, what's your next performance?
Well, a film, let us say, shall we?
At what time, darling?
5:30. We can get them in at 5:30, can't we?
All right, okay. And that goes where?
Well,
What do you do with Terry Truman's?
We'll just cover them up.
If that's on the side.
Those 2 side stages, yes.
And you put your screen in like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Down.
All right. Now your next performance is what?
8 o'clock.
Of what?
A senior play, or a student's play,
Or a concert.
or a concert.
All right. Well, take a concert because you take a concert, an orchestral concert. So you've got to move what?
Well, if it's a smallish scale thing, it could be done in front of the orchestra screen.
Well, you're now at 10 o'clock at night. What do you do next?
Strike for the next morning.
No, why not? You've got a late night show.
late night show we could have,
You
yeah.
did the other night. You've got a late night show starting at 11 o'clock. What do you do? Do you have a night shift?
I think it'll come to that.
Some of the site's 1,000 trees have been included in the design of the open-air arena theatre. It's already been used for poetry and plays and for vast pop concerts.
I think it's pretty important in any large-scale project for young people that they should make a substantial contribution themselves. Of course, the whole Cannon Hill development is the result of much cooperation from all kinds of people. People who've got money have given money, people who have got special professional skills have given those. Young people, as a rule, haven't got a great deal of money, but they have got enthusiasm and strength, muscular power. And we've used this since the beginning to have one project such as this, the Arena Theatre, to which everybody could contribute. This is quite a substantial undertaking, and many thousands of tons of concrete has to be made, many hundreds of tons of stone to be built into the tiers. It's a kind of minor pyramid and represents the work of, I suppose now, hundreds and hundreds of young people from all over the world.
Students come each summer to the International Work Camp at the Arts Centre to build the open-air theatre. It's almost finished. There are about 10 nationalities this year, including Poles and Italians, Swedes and Czechs, as well as British. It's skilled work, building the walls by hand with paving stones given by the city of Birmingham.
What I'd like to understand is how far you're going up with this. The actors have got to come up there, up those steps there.
I was told no 3 feet.
3 feet from here?
Yes.
3 feet from here, but surely 3 feet from the plateau. Because the point is, it should be a secret entrance that actors can climb up there and suddenly appear on that plateau.
The work camp lives in its own village and does its own catering. Dinner is an exercise in international understanding, and John English is only allowed in as a special guest.
I mean, what we always try to find out is why people choose to come to this work camp rather than any other, you know. I mean, did you know it was an art centre when you...
Yeah, I knew that an art centre existed.
Saw a rat about this big.
Work camps usually build homes for refugees or deprived communities. Here in Birmingham, the deprivation is less obvious. Industrialisation has killed the old way of life. The community has lost some of its original roots. So the students are helping to build the Midlands Art Centre to provide a new focus for the community.
I like to think of the Midlands Arts Centre as part of the Second Industrial Revolution, as a piece of social engineering, an exercise in social cultural education. And this is truly what it is. It's a good place to be conducting the experiment in the Midlands. I suppose as far as Britain is concerned, we shall feel the effects of automated manufacture sooner than most places. But the problem is one which is facing everybody all over the world. The Americans are already talking about the post-industrial society, and it's something which every developing country is going to have to look to. I suppose it's something I've always wanted to do, even when I was in industry myself. And it's been very exciting to be able to spend the last part of one's life doing this. It's working. We're not really going to know whether it's going to work on the scale one hopes for a long time, perhaps 15 or 20 years, until the little children who are beginning to use the centre now grow up, marry, produce their own kids and bring them back. Then we'll know. That'll be for someone else to find out.